Joe, what about Ed Sullivan? Did you work closely with him?
Very close with Ed. I just somebody just gave me a picture this morning of Ed with the Beatles. I was pretty close with Ed Sullivan. We'd go to the theater together. And that's one show that I miss.
Yeah.
Well, he started out as a columnist, right? He was a newspaper columnist first, and
first,
then
I think writing about sports, then about Hollywood, and he was the right man at the right time.
Great showman, knew how to put it all
Ed
together.
Sullivan was great.
Joe, with your you have a lot of things obviously that you collect.
Oh yeah.
Now, is there like a system that you have to knowing where things are?
That's one of my weaknesses. That I don't know much of a system, but I did.
You mean there's not a system in here?
I didn't know about it.
Looks pretty good to me.
When I was a kid doing TV, I would ask Ronald Reagan for his tie clip. I would ask George Raft for a sweater. I would ask Tyrone Power for his cigarette pack. I'd ask Charlie Chaplin for a cane. In other words, when I was asking these things,
Mementos, huh?
it was right. It was just a kid collecting souvenirs. There was no such thing yet as the word celebrity memorabilia.
Right.
No such thing as the word collectible or
Right.
ephemera.
People didn't think this stuff would be worth anything.
It was just me collecting souvenirs.
Wow.
I was so far ahead of my time.
Yeah.
I was a soothsayer. I paved the way for this whole. Today the big thing is eBay. And
Yeah, I was going to say, you could be like the biggest eBay all by yourself.
my boss, he won't let me sell anything. I think there's a tough boss.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll sell everything. Eventually, right?
What are you going to do when you, in the Times it said that you have to, you're not that you have to, you're going to be moving in a few weeks.
Hello? Now listen, Lee, I'm talking about you on the other phone. Give me till exactly 6:30.
What are you going to be, what are you going to, how are you going to do it? What are you going to do?
Everything in stores, probably in New Jersey. And not cataloged, not organized.
Just pick it all up and
Pick
move
it all up in cartons.
And then when are you going to catalog it?
Never. The big word is if or someday. I'm just emotionally attached to the extent that I hate.
But you're going to continue doing your show in New York on Bloomberg?
I got people driving me crazy now to go back on TV. I'm one of the few who quit TV voluntarily. They kept. I always wanted to quit before I got evicted. Anyhow.
Sure.
And they kept putting me on later and later. Someone's not going to take.
No.
No one's there.
They put me on later and later after the infomercials. I figured I wanted to quit the exact same time when Johnny Carson quit. I
Right.
think that would be the media blitz of the century.
Right.
What press I would have gotten. But I had about another year and 3 months to go on my contract, so I couldn't get out. But they were stunned when I quit.
You were on 40 years on television.
43.
And that is a record. Nobody's ever been on the air
In the
as long
Guinness
as
Book of World Records. 43 years.
And the interviewing 500,000 people.
Yeah.
Do you miss it?
No.
No.
It's an interesting thought. People said to me, Joe, the day when it ends, it's going to be a trauma. You're going to be out of your mind. The day when it ended, it was like nothing ever happened. It was like those 43 years never happened.
Wow.
I woke up in the morning, didn't miss it. People said, Joe, you got to go. It's going to be a shock, going to be a jolt, it's going to be a trauma, but it wasn't. I don't miss it.
Do you have a big project coming up?
Well, I got people.
I know you're busy with the
a sitcom based on
With you in it?
a reality show starring me.
Oh, that is an excellent
It's
idea.
in the word. We'd call it maybe Camp Franklin. This is a campy show about me, people auditioning for my TV. I was known for the most eclectic mix. I would have President Nixon on with the guy who whistles through his nose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, play the spoons. Yeah.
Right.
Spoons on his head.
Yeah.
I would have Margaret Mead, great anthropologist, on with the guy who a dancing dentist.
Yeah, the politically correct guy kind of stole that idea from you. Politically incorrect, where he mixes different personalities. That's what you did.
Whatever, there's a big story in Time magazine with David Letterman on the cover. So whatever is Letterman-esque was originally Franklin.
Yes.
Stupid Petre, whatever. I invented
it
all
all.
that.
Yeah.
So they want to do a show now of people auditioning for my show, like fire eaters and hog callers and all kind of.
Wow, street performers and stuff like that.
Twirl plates.
Right.
I wanted to ask you about Billy Crystal. Of course, does a wonderful impression of
Billy
you.
Crystal did me for 4 years on
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't watch because I'm on the radio against that. But the first time when I finally got to see Billy Crystal as Joe Franklin, you know what I said? I said, one of us is lousy.
I have a story because, of course, you're this legendary New York character. But there are other parts of the country where you're not as well known.
Oh, yeah.
And when Billy Crystal started to do you on Saturday Night Live, there were people who thought that this was a fictional character that he invented. That They didn't realize that this was a real person.
Right.
And Joe
He did
Franklin.
a lot for my career. My club days fee went up. I
Yeah.
a lot of banquets, speeches in college. So after that, I was.
Do you do any stand-up in your restaurant, or is it others?
I could, but
You don't?
I rarely do. I don't want to take away from the young comics.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do great comedy. If it was a big banquet there, I do jokes. But for the comedy club per se, I don't.
What about corporate? Do you do any big corporate?
I do about maybe one banquet every 2 weeks.
Oh, you do?
I talk at synagogues, at mitzvahs. I talk at. I'm doing some speeches now for the coin dealers. I do. I'm pretty good on the banquet circuit, like Georgie Jester.
Sure.
Georgie Jester.
Postmaster General, George Jester.
He was known for that. Hello? Listen, I'm beginning to call back in a half hour.
We saw a good photograph just now in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Jessel.
Yeah, we stopped
You
there.
and
He was
Jessel.
the king of the eulogies. He was,
Yeah.
And he always gave the same eulogy. No matter where he went, he gave the same eulogy. He'd say, my dear friend, my beloved friend, my childhood friend, my dear friend, or whatever, Mr. Man, like most beloved dear. One day the coffin was a little bit open. He looked and he said, oh my God, I know this man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Joe.
He used to wear these He used to wear these military uniforms. I don't know where he got them from. But he always had
The hat,
brass.
right.
Yeah, he was,
Have you ever interviewed any or all of the Three Stooges?
I wish I could have. I knew them. I knew them.
Yeah.
I knew them. One of them gave me a souvenir once. Larry Fine gave me an old violin.
Did he?
Oh.
Uh-huh.
But, because you know I'm a collector of memorabilia.
Right.
But, on TV, I don't think ever.
Yeah.
What
How
about
about
Marx Brothers?
Well, I had
What about
Groucho.
any?
I had
Yeah,
Groucho.
Groucho.
I think he's the only one I have.
Lou Costello, Bud Abbott.
Abbott and Costello both, yeah.
Really?
They were great. I love them.
Yeah. Terrific.